Hello and welcome to another indie game review by Sigbrand. Today I'm going to be reviewing Sanctum, a 3D tower defense merged with FPS by Coffee Stain Studios. It uses a traditional build and attack phase, traditional wave system, a certain amount of waves you have to complete the level, with several different levels and several different towers. But the big twist is to this game that you can join in the fray while battling each wave. So your towers are going at it, your towers are shooting at these enemies, and then you, which you use a variety of guns, can actually attack them as well. And some enemies, it is very helpful that you can attack them because they need to be targeted in certain weak points, which is a prime part of this game. There are weak points and you do more damage to enemies when you hit them in these weak points. But anyways, you can join in the fray, and it makes the game a whole lot easier than just sitting back and letting your towers do it, because they're not as effective as you might think. This game has 4-player co-op. You play as a character named Sky, who is a core defender. The core is basically the part in the tower defense where you don't want the enemies to reach or they damage it. It has completely upgradable towers and guns. At the beginning of every level, you choose your guns you want to use from a list. I believe you choose 3, and then you choose a set of towers that you can build throughout the level. There's a lot of varieties of different enemies, and different towers and different guns are better suited to fight certain enemies, whereas, there's a certain type of enemy where unless you do a certain amount of damage to it, you can't damage it normally, you damage it very little. So you have to hit it with a tower that does a lot of damage as opposed to a little machine gun that peppers with tiny damage. So once you hit it with that large damage, then your machine gun turrets can hit it. But before that, you either have to hit it with your guns or you have to build a tower which can do a massive amount of damage all in one shot. It's a very complicated game in certain aspects like that, where there are multiple layers of strategy to make the game harder or easier if you really know what you're doing. You can build blocks on highlighted areas across the map, which is basically a wall that enemies can't pass, and upon these blocks then you can build towers. And the main point in the game, really, you don't want to just build towers, you have to build mazes. Unless you build mazes, you'll never be able to complete the game. So there is actually a dotted line where it shows you where the enemies will come into the map and where they'll go, which makes it a whole lot easier for developing these mazes, and it really is just a very good design on their part. The enemies march slowly towards your reactor upon these dotted lines, and of course you've got your towers like any other tower defense game, and they pepper them until they get to the end, and of course you are also shooting at them. And anytime that an enemy basically tramples over you, it damages you kind of. You only actually have health, but it knocks you to the side and you're down for a second. And then you have to come back after that. And hopefully you've gotten out of the way, because once they start trampling you, sometimes you'll be stuck there for 20-30 seconds before you can actually get out, depending on how your grid is set up. You can hit a button to go to the overview and teleport to several teleporters, the most basic type of tower. It's not an actual tower, but just a system that can be built upon a block. And you can teleport around the map, which makes transportation easier. They've slipped past your first line defense, you want to teleport back to your second line in order to shoot them easier or whatever. Of course, in co-op, everybody can use these towers, and everybody can place towers and do damage in co-op as well. One last thing, there are, besides the towers, floor tiles. A lot of tower defense games have bombs or things like that. Well, this game has actual towers that are built into the floor that you can create, that every time someone passes them they'll be slowed, or when they pass them they'll take a massive amount of damage, which are also upgradable just like anything else. And they basically allow you to utilize every square of the map which is given to you to place towers on. And it's a really great system, and I really like the game. When I first got it, I played it for hours upon hours straight, just cranked up my music and went at it. I'm an avid fan of tower defense games, and I'd really recommend this if you're into them, because the 3D aspect just kind of throws a whole new thing in there, and the FPS is even bigger than that. I would definitely recommend the game to you. It's available for $9.99 on Steam, and they're also in development of a second game at the moment. They don't have a projected date, as I'm telling you this now, but possibly in the future, hopefully soon. They already have concept art up of new characters and new enemies, and new maps, so hopefully that'll come along as soon as possible because it's a great game and I'd really like to see a sequel. This has been another indie game review by Sigbrand. Hopefully you'll check out my other review this week, Mark of the Ninja, and coming soon next week, I've got a first look on Primal Carnage and on Galaxy on Fire 2, as well as a review on Alien Breed Impact and a review on the Primal Carnage multiplayer. Thanks for watching, subscribe if you like, and have a good day.